What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. I decided to post a part 2 to the video I uploaded a few days ago because it honestly got a pretty good amount of views and I had several comments asking me to go into more detail. But first, let me quickly catch you up on what I covered in the first 30-minute video that I uploaded. I'm going to try and summarize it in less than 2 minutes, so here we go. Number 1, the religion of Islam denies Jesus as being the Son of God, which automatically makes them an Antichrist religion. Number 2, the religion of Islam believes in a man that will come during the end days known as the Mahdi. He will bring equity and justice to the world and rule for 7 years. Who does that sound like? And number 3, this Mahdi will be working alongside Isa, who is the Islamic Jesus. This Islamic Jesus is not the real Jesus. He is considered to be a prophet of Allah, and according to Muslims, he did not die on the cross. Instead, he was taken up into heaven, awaiting a second coming. When he returns to the earth, however, he will follow the Mahdi and come to destroy the cross, basically implying that Christianity is the false religion. And lastly, we covered how the false prophet Muhammad was most likely visited by a demon or even Satan himself, because Islam teaches that the angel Gabriel told Muhammad that he was the last apostle of God, which couldn't be further from the truth. Now, here's what we're going to be covering in today's video, so feel free to listen all the way through or to skip to the section that you would like to hear the most. We're going to be covering the white horse mentioned in the book of Revelation, the location of where the Antichrist may come from, the importance of the Mahdi ruling on the Temple Mount, and Islam's main way of execution and how it relates to the book of Revelation. So let's begin with the first topic, the white horse mentioned in the book of Revelation. Let us read Revelation 6:1. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. Why is this important? Well, when looking at how the Mahdi is described in the Hadith and the Quran and portrayed in its pictures, it's clear that he is also riding a white horse. But this isn't the only person riding a white horse in the book of Revelation. Later on it says this, Revelation 19:11. Then I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. The one sitting on it is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. His eyes are like a flame of fire, and on his head are many diadems, and he has a name written that no one knows but himself. He is clothed in a robe dipped in blood, and the name by which he is called is the Word of God. And the armies of heaven, arrayed in fine linen, white and pure, were following him on white horses. From his mouth comes a sharp sword, to strike down the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. He will tread the winepress of the fury of the wrath of God the Almighty, and on his robe and on his thigh he has a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is obviously speaking of Jesus, which means that Satan could also be trying to make the Mahdi appear as the Christ himself. Just some food for thought. And fun fact, by the way, Saddam Hussein, former president of Iraq, the dictator, he was known for his brutality and strong Islamic faith. He painted murals of the Mahdi on a white horse all over Baghdad. Saddam was sometimes even referred to as the reincarnation or successor of King Nebuchadnezzar from ancient Babylon. He made it very clear that he had tried to recreate or rebuild Babylon. By the way, for those that may not know, Babylon is mentioned all throughout the Bible and is even mentioned in the book of Revelation with a very negative connotation. But anyways, that subject is for another video, so let's move on to the second topic. The second topic was the location of the Antichrist. Jesus himself says in the book of Matthew, "Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold," now pay attention, "he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not." That's interesting that he says desert. Is he implying that a false Christ will arise from the desert? If so, could he be speaking of the Mahdi? Let's move on to topic number 3. He will rule on the Temple Mount. What is the Temple Mount and why is it so important? Well, the Temple Mount is the holiest site in Judaism. It's where the first and second holy temples once stood. These temples no longer remain because they were destroyed by the Babylonians and the Romans. So why does this matter? Well, for those that may not know, Islam's most popular shrine is located directly on top of the Temple Mount. This means that an Antichrist religion has placed their holiest building on top of the ancient Jewish temples. This is a huge deal that people seem to just kind of overlook. The reason it's a big deal is because we know that the Jewish people are awaiting the Messiah, or awaiting a Messiah, who will restore and run the third and final temple. Well, Islam is waiting for a Messiah to come and establish Islam as universal truth. It's interesting because if a Mahdi or a supernatural figure like Isa comes back to earth or in a demonic form, the Jewish people may be influenced to worship them. This Mahdi and Isa could assist the Jews in creating this third temple, essentially uniting all religions of the world under a fake umbrella of peace. After all, listen how the Bible describes the future Antichrist, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. It makes sense to me that this Mahdi and Isa could sit in the temple of God built by the Jews and proclaim themselves to be God. Now, I could be reaching on that a little bit, but you guys let me know what you think. Let's move on to our next point. Topic number 4, the Islamic way of execution. Did you know that decapitation was the normal method of executing the death penalty under classical Islamic law? It was also, together with hanging, one of the ordinary methods of execution in the Ottoman Empire, which we know is closely associated with Islamic history. Did you also know that the religion of Islam still enforces this act? Now, I have to admit it has drastically decreased in the modern world, but it has not been completely eliminated. Currently, Saudi Arabia is the only country in the world which uses decapitation within its Islamic legal system. The majority of executions carried out by the Wahhabi government of Saudi Arabia are public beheadings, which usually cause mass gatherings, but people are not allowed to be photographed or record anything. Why do they do these things? Well, it's supported by their own holy book, and I'll prove it. Let us read the Quran. So make those who believe stand firm. I will throw fear into the hearts of those who disbelieve, then smite the necks and smite of them each finger. Now when you meet in battle, those who disbelieve, the end is smiting of the necks until when ye have routed them, making fast of bonds, and afterward either grace or ransom till the war lay down its burdens. Notice how the Quran supports this idea of beheading and even encourages the believers of Islam to do so in certain situations. Why does it matter though? What does it matter that they believe this? Well, it directly relates to the Antichrist. Let me read Revelation 24 and you tell me. Revelation 24. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that had been beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and who had not worshipped the beast, nor his image, nor had received his mark upon their foreheads or on their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Did you hear that? And I saw the souls of them that had been beheaded for the witness of Jesus. This is an Islamic thing. This is something in the desert. This is an Arab way of execution. So in conclusion, most of the world is looking for this heroic figure that will one day come to set everything straight. The Hindus are looking for Krishna. The Jews are looking for the Messiah, which has already come. The Muslims are looking for the Mahdi. And the Christians are looking for the second coming of Christ. The end is upon us, and it's important that we become aware of this. I believe that we are slowly being separated from the world due to the chaos that will soon arrive. I admit that I am weak, and I do not do everything that I can. Deep down in my heart, I know that Christ is Lord, and I know that I need to discipline my flesh so that it obeys my spirit. I'm not trying to hate on the Muslim people. I am trying to hate on the Islamic faith because I truly believe that Satan is the one who created it. But I will continue to make these videos if you guys are interested. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments. Have a great day. Peace.